Good morning. Yeah, it's a grungy day. Most of my days are, but you know, Oklahoma just passed the bill, thank God, banning child marriage. 36 Republicans, however, voted against it. It did pass, so I got that flare from the sun behind me. Sorry. Um, you know, let me explain something to you voters. And this is bipartisan, okay? It's to all voters everywhere. When you vote somebody in to represent you, they're representing your values, your opinions, what you feel is best for your country, for others. Okay? So when you're going more broad, okay, you're talking about everybody in the country. What is best for everybody in the country, all the citizens, okay? When you vote for that, you take responsibility for what those people do. You are their boss. You voted them in. If they're not consulting you, say for marrying that your 13-year-old daughter can get married, and you're thinking, oh, hell to the bells, no, um, that was your vote. It's your responsibility to pick up that phone and to write and to tell them this is not what I voted you in for. Um, we're seeing a lot of MAGA leaving the movement now. America's never been great. I've been one to say that. I don't know of a time where America has always been great. There are great things that America has done. There has been times that I'm thoroughly embarrassed or really angry at what's been done. I remember as a little kid watching the soldiers march down 2nd Avenue in New York City who returned from the Vietnam War. And as a little girl, I didn't understand the booing and the throwing things at our military. It affected me so deeply that I wanted to be a part of the military. Life didn't work out that way for me. I take my voting very seriously. Ever since I turned 18, I did the lookups. I checked to make sure what I was voting for was good. And sometimes, look, I made mistakes. I voted for the wrong people. I believe a president needs to be loyal to their spouse, and that will cover male and female. If they can't be loyal to their spouse, then they're not going to be loyal to a bunch of strangers. Watching what this president has done in the span of 17 months, seeing how King Charles, and yeah, I'm not MAGA. So I took joy in what was happening there. And so many MAGA did not pick up on it. A lot of even left-leaning people. Now, I am not ultra-left. I have certain belief systems. Yes, they've changed over time after I became a nurse, but we are more learned. And that's why there's an attack on colleges, universities, higher education, education as a whole, education that does not include religion, but maybe a broad overview. I did get a broad overview of all religions. They did leave out some religions I did not know about until I became an adult. Had a good friend, Janine, who opened my eyes to Wicca. I thought, wow. I've been to Jewish Seder meals. I've been to Passover meals. I worked in a Jewish summer camp. I am not Jewish. I consider myself Christian in a way that has been defined by reading the Bible, by searching up other things about Christianity. And Jesus, the Christ, let me be specific, the Christ, is kind, loving, and God made man, okay? Who says everybody matters. We're all his children. Whatever the color of skin, whatever the religious belief or lack thereof, all of it. And it's a moral standard that is put out by the Bible that directs how I treat people. I find in the past 10 years, I have become increasingly more angry. Some would argue I was angry before that. That has to do with personal. If you see my other videos, you'll know. What's happening in America right now is a laughingstock. And the country and the world and sorry, not the country and the world. The world as a whole is looking at this. Allies who say, wait a minute, we're in NATO. That's a defensive position. America was attacked. America asked for Article 5 to be invoked, and the world came. Our allies came. When you're the aggressor, that's not a NATO thing. It's not a NATO thing. NATO is not going to take up arms because you want oil. Because somebody has those Epstein files holding over your head and shaking them, saying, I'm going to release them. I'm going to show them all. And then China happened. Little girls and boys. That was alluding to the Epstein. The fact that she did not put out a carpet and put in low-level people to welcome this entourage of people who are not even in government. And Donnie walked away with nothing. He walked away capitulating. This is how far America has fallen. Your choice in who represents you matters. You want a pedophile representing you because you believe in child marriage and you're willing to give over your daughters to these older men or whatever. That matters. I'm watching on the gypsy community in Europe. And I got to say, I understand somewhat where they're coming from. And yes, they do have child marriages. 16-year-olds are getting married to 16-year-olds and they're having babies. But they're a community. We don't have a sense of community in the States anymore. I'm hoping the left-leaning people are giving that sense of community to people that are marginalized, that are of like mind. Because honestly, MAGA, if you're still in the MAGA movement, your movement doesn't exist. It doesn't exist. Let's try to make America great. That's going to be a progressive thing that changes over time because time changes and circumstances change. So you're going to have to get to that MAG movement in order to come back and bounce back from this. Do your research on your representative, because you say, hey, I didn't vote for this. Yes, you did. When people come to you with an opposing opinion or say, hey, you need to look at this, and hey, you need to look at that, you need to look at that and say, is this what I want? A man who sat there and said, women let you grab them by the kitty cat is not a good guy. It was all splashed all over what Ivana was saying about what happened that day in their bedroom after he got his scalp reduction surgery, which, by the way, is a gender-affirming care. Just to let you know. Plastic surgery on an elective basis is a gender-affirming care. Needing Viagra is gender-affirming care. These people represent you. So don't come and turn around and say, I didn't vote for this when you voted for that person. You did vote for this, you just didn't do your homework. Do better. Do better. Have the day you voted for. Please like and subscribe.